Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to show you guys all the tools that I have. I pretty much have everything I need to build sheds right here on my trailer and my truck. The only thing I don't have is a fan. I carry two fans in the summertime. A big one and a smaller one. A big one to blow air, just keep air moving, and then a small one I set up in the shade. And that really helps my performance. Let me go ahead and get these boxes out. Anytime I pull up on a shed, one of the first things I do is I pull out my box of tools. Let's go ahead. First and foremost, I have a compressor with a 50-foot hose. I also have a second hose that I'm able to attach to this compressor. I typically work by myself, but whenever I do have someone help me, I can be doing the roofing while they put on the trim. Alright, so my three boxes. I have a Milwaukee pack out, and this thing is brilliant because it's got all of my tools in it. And I just basically wheel it into the backyard. Alright, so I guess I'll start with my trailer. I have an 18-foot car trailer, and this is what I use. Part of that, I have a tire plug kit, which is essential for nails and screws that get into these tires. I've never had any trouble with my truck tires, but I've gone through quite a few tires, and of course I have a tool to inflate my tires back up. It's extremely helpful, especially if you're on the side of the highway. Which, speaking on the side of the highway, I can plug in my compressor using my generator. The type of generator I have is a Ryobi 1800 watt, 2300 watt max, and it's really good. It's one of what they call the quiet generators, and it really is. Now, TUFF Shed has a generator that they will loan out to installers for when they're doing Home Depot installations. You're going to have a generator, and their generator is heavy and loud. This one is very lightweight and quiet. You can't plug in two compressors with it, just one compressor, and of course I can plug in my batteries with it as well. To go along with Home Depot shed installations, I also have a rolling magnetic thing that I can use to pick up all the loose nails and screws. Alright, I have two ladders. These are little giants, and I believe they are a 16-foot span altogether. I have two of them. I carry at all times two ladders and a 2x12x12 so that whenever I'm doing a barn, I have scaffolding to be able to do my shingles on the side of a barn. So next up, I have a hammer drill, and I have various drill bits that I use for drilling through concrete. Sometimes you'll get a shed that goes on a concrete, directly to concrete. Those sheds include something like a garage, so you're going to need this to anchor down those shed walls. Next up is a farmer's jack. This farmer's jack is essential for lifting the shed, which you can put it at the corner of the shed and underneath the trim board, and you can jack up your shed. It's also extremely helpful for jacking up your trailer on the fly on the side of the highway whenever you get your flat. I guess we'll start with this. I have a 4-foot level. Obviously you're going to need a level to level the framing, as well as shelving And I also carry with me 2 dollies. Dolly number 1 is just a regular hand truck. There's nothing special about it. It's standard from the Home Depot. I use it to carry roof sheathing, bricks, the doors. Next up is my wall panel dolly. This dolly is clutch. This is my helper. This is my power. This is how I am able to transport walls by myself. Without this, I couldn't do it. This is extremely important for when you're wanting to carry a wall through a fence gate, because you can just carry it straight on through. Okay, so I'll go through what I have in each box. Tin snips. I guess these are metal tab benders. I don't know the correct terminology. Tab benders. You use these to bend the ends of the metal tracks. I have 2 measuring tapes. I have one 16 foot and I have one 100 foot. I have pencils. I have, I guess this is called a cat's claw. It's a tiny pry bar. I also have a regular size pry bar, which I think this is a Stanley Wonder Bar. I have a box blade knife, caulking gun, 4-pound. I have a 4-pound sledgehammer. I have a regular hammer. I have multiple wrenches, including crescents and regular pliers, and I just like to have a variety of things. They come in useful for, I use them every so often, especially for pulling nails out of my guns when they get stuck. Speed square. I have 2 different wall handles. These are magic. First and foremost, this one is, I guess, a wall handle hook. If you Google that, you will not find it anywhere. This is supplied by TUFF Shed. What is special about this is you can put it on a 2x4 and carry the walls, and then you can also flip it around, and with the double stud, you can carry a double studded with this handle. The thing about this handle is it does get a little slippery. So I have this. This is a Stanley Fat Max utility bar, and basically you can grab the wall and carry it, and its grip is grippier. And of course, you know, you can use it to pry as a pry bar, and you can also use it as a hammer. Those 2 are essential for carrying walls. Next up in my bucket is a drill that I use with a 15/16 socket that I use for the anchors. These anchors right here, they go into the ground, and just clip it on and drill it into the ground. If you don't have one of those, you're going to need to have post hole diggers to dig a hole in the ground to be able to stick the anchors in, or an auger. Obviously, an auger is going to be a lot easier to use. That's everything in my first bucket. My second bucket is everything power tool related. I have a hand blower for blowing out the shed, all the debris, when I am ready to clean up at the end of the day. I have a handsaw, skill saw, sawzall, and I have an impact drill and a regular drill. And I also have an oscillating saw, the vibrating tool. And that's all the power tools I have. In my last bucket, I have an 80-foot extension cord with all my little various plug-ins. And I carry my 3 guns. I have a siding nailer, I also have a roofing nailer, and then I have a framing nailer. And the last thing I carry in that last bucket is another extension cord. This one's 20 feet for a total reach of 100 feet. I probably should carry another extra extension cord, but I don't. I have not run into any problems within the last couple years of working with this shed, so these have been sufficient for me. I would also say that this generator comes in clutch for whenever I'm doing a shed install out in a field. There have been several times where I go to do a shed installation, and lo and behold, it's 20 miles away from anything electrical, and no one knew until I showed up. And so it's always handy to have a generator always on hand for even those weird moments like that. Trying to think what else I have. That seemed pretty simple, a little too simple, but I think that's it. With this setup, I am able to work efficiently and effectively. It's very organized, and it works. It works well for me. So I will try to leave as many items in the description as I can, especially this bar. When I first started out, this was a hard find. I had no idea what to call it. How do I search for this? What is this called? And so I'll leave a link in the description below. And then the same thing with this wall panel dolly. Without these 2 items, I would not be able to carry walls. Just can't do it. I actually ran into a problem not long ago when I showed up, and I had lost both of these on a job. I left them in the grass somewhere. Showed up the next day to do a shed install, and I had a hard time. I will say that. I had a hard time because it didn't have any. So that's all my tools. I hope that this has provided value for you in your setup. And yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. You know, I knew I was forgetting something. A shovel. A little tiny shovel. This thing is awesome. When I'm leveling the shed, I can scoop out the dirt very easily, and yeah. I might be missing something else, and if I am, then yeah, I guess, I don't know. I also, whenever doing anchors, I have a 3/4 inch wrench that is also a ratchet, and this thing is amazing for bolting down the anchors on the inside of the shed. I also carry with me a 1/4 inch bit driver. I guess they call these driver nuts. And I have a 5/16 driver nut, and then I also have a number 2 square bit for handling with all the screws and everything. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.